Welcome back, viewers. Truly, as that video is being played, something was resonating in my mind, and it's this saying: if someone explain Nigeria to you and you actually understand, it's more like saying something is definitely not right with you. You get because I begin to ask myself, is this the sole responsibility? I understand that when there are concerns, you share it with your fellow senators and the rest. Now, this was the same hallowed chamber of the Senate where a huge chunk of amount was used in renovating, bigger than what was even used in building the chamber itself. And now we are having this particular issue. I understand very well, vividly, that there could be some technical challenges. We work every day in the studio, and we understand that some of these things happens. You get, but threatening to take legal action for me is something for me, I would say the maintenance department would have just maybe look at, and but him coming to say he would take legal action in one part. Now this is how I'm looking at it, Venerable, because he said from his first statement that we should take time to understand what they have actually done. And now in the hallowed chamber, you are reporting that you are taking legal action. Is this part of what is being done in the hallowed chamber? Just help us make this whole thing make sense.
Well, I think this is something that came more spontaneously.
Okay.
Yes. If you have spent a lot of money, which we already know, in putting on these electronic gadgets there, and like what he said that in the House of Representatives, is it yesterday or thereabout, that they were thoroughly embarrassed by the public address system, and he's saying this on air. I think it's something that came more spontaneously,
Okay.
and no one can blame any person for that. And you can still see him now in the hitting the microphone several times. It can be annoying. Sometimes we have to put ourselves in the position of these persons. He knows the amount that went into that very contract, and he's not getting what is expected from it. So, to that extent, I wouldn't really blame him for talking about it in the hollow chamber. And by the way, where else will he speak to his colleagues about it? He cannot just get up and take a contractor to court without clearing with his colleagues. To that extent, but my own concern is who monitored this project, who gave this project, and who monitored the project. That is where the problem lies. If you go and dig deep now, you will discover that what was approved for this very particular project of public address system, half of it was not used. More than half of it must have gone under the carpet. That is why, at the end of the day, it turns out to be like this.
All right.
So I think it's something they need to look into.
Thank you so much, Venerable Day. And now I want to look at another trending story that is making rounds across social media, and that is the proposal of the Senate chamber proposing 50,000 naira fine for preaching and hawking in buses. Father in God, 50,000 naira fine for preaching and hawking in buses. Now let's take hawking out of it and look at preaching. The Bible clearly says, go into the world and make disciples of all nations. And there's this thing where, as an evangelist, one would say you wouldn't know where to meet the soul intended to be touched or reached. Now, should there be a restriction as regards to how we exercise our faith in Nigeria? Because why I'm also saying this is because this same Senate is saying that we should take time to look at what they have done. Now, this is me now looking at what they have done from my own perspective. Passing a law or proposing a 50,000 naira fine for preachers, is this part of what they are doing? Now, from the point of view of the church, does this not hinder evangelism?
Of course, it will hinder evangelism. For me, it's an attack on Christian religion. I don't know how they arrive at this. I was shocked when I saw it in the face of the newspaper this morning. This is a law. I've not heard that, I don't know who proposed this kind of law when it was proposed. I don't know whether there was public hearing done at all on it. The next thing we are hearing about fan. Now, this is a law that is very, very technical. When you say, the headline I read is 50,000 naira fine for preaching, not just for preaching, but for preaching in public buses. Now, that law can be used anyway to hold any person.
Okay.
I can sit down with you in the bus and we are interacting, and I decide to present Jesus to you. You may be interested in politics, but I'm interested in religion. So I can decide to sell Jesus to you. It's for you to accept it or not to accept it. So how does that become an offense? But I know that the one this law they are primarily targeting is the ones that have made it a hobby now. They move from one, like in Lagos those days, once you are sitting there inside the bus, somebody gets up and preach the gospel, then sometimes follow you, preaching inside the bus. When he gets to the next point, he comes down and enter another bus that is going back. And sometimes they start asking for offering inside the vehicle. If that is what they are trying to come, then let there be public hearing. Let's streamline it, and so that some people will not become unnecessarily victim of a law that was hurriedly passed. Yeah, that is my own concern about it. Then, if you are doing that, then you should also restrict so many other things. Yes, you should also restrict so many other things. I had a course to enter a public bus though long ago, where the kind of music that was played in that bus throughout was very irritating to me. I'm inside the vehicle, I'm a priest, and the music that was played throughout was talking about nudity, talking about women's bonbon and all that throughout. So, what have you done about that? Is it the one that is telling people to give his or her life to Christ that is your major concern? And why the rush? So those are the things that we need to look at so that we strike good balance. We strike good balance. It's like somebody was saying, let us stop people from preaching with loudspeakers. And I told the person, it's not about stopping Christians. So if you want to stop Christians from doing open air crusade, using loudspeakers and all that, you must also be ready to tell all the Muslims to remove their horn speaker from their mosque, because they wake up people by 4 a.m. Disturb people's sleep and all that. So you cannot target one religion and leave the other religion out. You cannot target Christians and leave other public nuisance. If you don't want noise inside the bus, then you must be ready to look at the kind of music that is played in the bus and so many other things. Even the music that are played in shops, in the street. So it's not a law to be rushed. It's something that should be looked at holistically if we need to do something about that. But my greatest concern is this. Is it in the time when criminality is taking over the whole country? Immorality has gotten to the peak, and all that we should be talking about gagging preachers or stopping preaching of the gospel? Should that be our priority now?
All All right. Thank you so much, Venerable Princess. I just want to ask and bring you into this conversation. Venerable have opened up an array of technicalities as regards to this proposal. But now you begin to ask, even as Christians, and I'm asking because this is a faith-based station, the same persons that are proposing this law, are they from the moon? Are they not actually Christians? Is the Senate president not a Christian? All right, so what was the take on